but above everything, they are politicians, and therefore we have no choice but to speak matters politics. So much happening in the country, and that's exactly what we decipher on as we look forward to the August 9th polls, a very, very instrumental and historic day in the country. And so this one we have to discuss as we also continue to, enlighten the viewer, enlighten the masses and the people down there as to what they need to do when it comes to the question of electing those ones that will serve them and serve them right. So we get into this conversation 24 days to the general election. Just how well prepared are we? How set is the IEBC to take us through this process? Many have looked at it as an entity that is not as organized, but then the CEO and the chairperson, that is Wafula Chebukati, as well as Hussein Marjan, confirm and affirm to us that we need not to worry because they are on course. And so we can cross fingers and hope for the best as we look forward to this moment. Remember to maintain that aspect of peace, the campaigns and on, listen to all these leaders, but just make a decision that is wise enough to accord you good leadership. So karibu sana once again. This is Morning Cafe. The hashtag is Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela TV 47KE. In studio with me, two gentlemen, Ken Oliech, Dagoretti South Member of Parliament candidate, and he's going it independent, as well as Honorable Jaoko Oburu Odinga, not a new face on set. It's an honor to have him once again. He's the chairperson of Azimio Young Turks, and virtually will be joined by Engineer Crispus Wadimba. I was still trying to get a hold of him. Once he is on, then we'll be getting to loop him in, a Nakuru senatorial candidate, and goes it independent. So gentlemen, thank you so much for creating time. Before we take a quick break, it is important, or quick and short is more or less the same thing. It is important that we say hi to the people. Jaoko, how have you been?
Fine. Good morning to all Kenyans out there and all who are listening and watching. We're well. We're a few weeks away from elections.
Less than a month.
Like many people are talking about 3 years, and it's 2, 1. Now we're talking about a month.
But last year we were already in 2022 because everyone was talking about 2022 politics. We didn't know that it will get here pretty fast, but yes, like you have rightfully put it, it's just like weeks too. Less than a month, and we all hope that it will be a free, fair process, an organized process for that matter, for the sake of the people of Kenya. Ken Oliech, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
The first time you find your way here?
Yeah, it's my first time. I said thank you for the invite.
Anytime.
Yeah, and we are set and ready for the elections.
Dagoretti South, not a small place. What gives you the confidence that you are on course for this one?
Yeah, it's not a small place, it's a big place. That's my home ground. I was born and brought up in Dagoretti South, so that's my home area. Yeah.
All right, locked out courtesy of zoning. How does it feel? Do you feel like that was an unfair process, or pretty much a democratic space? And don't you think then, if it told you were going it for this very seat initially under ODM, and now you decide to go it independent, are you going to disadvantage that candidate of Azimio, splitting the vote? If at all you believe in the ideologies of the Azimio One Kenya alliance?
It's not about splitting the votes. When I came to vie for this seat, I came mainly to come and help my people from Dagoretti South. So regardless of the party, I came with the ODM and there was zoning. I had to take that. So I say that the party should not deter me from coming to work for my people. So that's why I decided to come independent. Because I say, regardless of the party, I have to work for my people. And my people, I have a backing from my people.
Right.
So when I came back to them, I told them I was told to surrender the seat. So they told me, you have our backing. That's why I'm saying, regardless of the party, I have the backing of my people. Well,
all the best, Jaoko. Would you try to convince him otherwise as to that? Because we all understand the importance of speaking in one voice. And like he says, he's been born and brought up in this very place. So at least we could give it to him that perhaps he enjoys some essence of support. Imagine if he were to bring this support to this other side, or the other way around.
Yes, my brother Ken is a fellow young Turk. And we as a young Turks, this time we really have been, we wanted many young Turks to come on board, and I think there are many who are on board, who have tickets, you know. You know, the parties are like clubs, you know, public clubs, and they're teams.
Yeah.
So sometimes the team will decide, you know, to arrange players this way and that way. And, you know, I feel for my brother, Ken, that this time the team played one or the other. And as Ken says, you know, he's enjoying the democratic space that is in Kenya. And part of that democratic choice is to be an independent candidate.
Yeah.
And this time he'll be out there and asking the people, saying, look, okay, I was in this team and they made this decision this way.
Yeah.
And now I'm coming as an independent candidate. And what do you say?
What do you say?
Yeah, so
I mean,
is,
whoever takes it at the end of the day,
yes.
And especially like you say, if they're young Turks, then you celebrate.
Oh yeah, Ken is a young Turk. I celebrate him.
All right.
Yes.
As he has put it, you know, parties are like clubs. So when I was dropped from one club, I went to another club.
Yes. And
mainly when you're playing football, when in a club, your main aim is to be called to the national team. Yeah. So once you are dropped in one club, so I went to another club so that I can play well, so that I can be called to the national team.
But you still subscribe to the ideologies of the Azimio One Kenya?
That's it. When I was in ODM, when I was in ODM,
yeah.
I know my ideology was for ODM. My candidate was Baba. When at independent, nothing has changed. The fact remains, if you cut my blood, is ODM.
Okay.
So the thing is, I want to play for the national team.
All right.
So this team cannot deter me from being called the national team. That's
Amazing.
why I went to the other team to be called to the national team.
Well,
and I know I'm going to make it to the national team.
And such is politics, my people, such is politics. So how about we take a short break and then we come to the matters of the day.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent, I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. The next set of millionaires are farmers. As we know, agriculture has been and still is the backbone of our economy. As we traverse the different counties to meet different farmers, we ensure to get the story of how they started farming and even how they continue to penetrate the market and overcome the challenges.
Hapa, the reason why nilieka goose na si ducks. Goose, they are very easy to maintain.
A lot of farmers keep on calling, inquiring whether you're supposed to raise some seeds in the nursery or you're supposed to do them directly in the field.
The greenhouse helps us control the temperature because the temperature needs to be between 28 to 32 degrees.
Walk this journey with us every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. secret, construction ain't cheap. But how do we make it affordable? Different individuals are finding ways of cutting down cost by use of pre-stressed slabs other than reinforced concrete, recycling plastics to make pavers.
The brick is stronger, it's cheaper, and it's lighter.
And
Parcel of
recycling.
the conversation, the hashtag is morningcafe at Linda_Lela TV47KE. In studio once again, Jauko Oburu as well as Ken Oliech as we get into this, waiting to get a hold of another guest that will be joining us virtually. Gentlemen, thank you once again for creating time. I mean, in as much as you are politicians, we do not go without speaking about Omanyala. We hope he makes us proud. Actually, it was a tough moment for him to find his way to the States, but then finally reprieve, and we can only hope that indeed he does us proud as he always has done. All right, so we shelve that one for a moment and look at some of these stories that have been captured in the papers this morning as pertaining to politics. Battle for parliament, rival formations are seeking to control both houses, counties, and yes, William Ruto UDA is fielding National Assembly candidates in 261 out of 290 constituency countrywide against Raila Odinga's 181 for ODM and Uhuru Kenyatta's 178 for Jubilee. Analysis by Coalition reveals that Azimio then leads the pack with about 567 candidates for National Assembly versus 366 for Kenya Kwanza. Azimio has 68 candidates for governor compared to Kenya Kwanza's 57, and also leads with about 100 to 68 for women representatives. A story captured on page 4 and 5, and we understand how instrumental numbers at the level of parliament then would be. But I don't know how possible is this at this point in time when we have very many independent candidates and strong ones for that matter, Jaoko?
Okay. So can you, what was the
question?
Yes.
Oh, I know you were trying to read this. I'm saying, how possible is it for these individuals to garner, you know, say a majority in parliament? And when we're saying a majority, we're talking about a proper quorum. At this very point when we have very many independent candidates, and above everything, it is almost a clear split in terms of numbers for these gentlemen.
Well, one of the things that has happened in the political landscape in Kenya now is that the voter has become very much aware. A lot of decisions on who will make it and who won't depends on that voter on the ground. You know, many Kenyans, some have still thought that maybe you know, the name of institutions will determine whether you go in or not. But as you can see, even from my own brother, Ken, he got the confidence, said, look, despite ABCD, I'm going out there. So, yes, we have, you know, you'll have the number of candidates for Azimio. You have KK also having their own candidates there. But at the end of the day, we are looking at, again, you know, many of the parties have gone, okay, we look at the strongholds. Most parties will put many candidates there. You go to where you're weaker, you'll find that maybe sometimes even ODM may not have candidates in the Rift Valley, you know, and KK will also not have candidates in Nyanza, etc., and where they perceived ODM and Jubilee strongholds. So this, what we have there, basically what I'm trying to say, is that depends a lot on what Mwananchi will say. Mwananchi, the power to the people is back. Mwananchi has become so aware of the issues. They become aware of their own, even like, as the government has made deliberate efforts to make sure that everybody is registered. Even us right now, as we walk out, I know even whether Ken is talking to his people to make sure they turn out to vote, because that's where all this will be determined. No one is, you know, if you look at the system right now of voting, you go, you're identified, then the voting is manual. And then after you do the manual voting, it is counted manually, and then it's transmitted. So there's nowhere where there's some magical one that somebody will wave so that or this happens. It is manual on the ground, and so a candidate should not fool themselves anyway that there's someone will help them otherwise. They have to go out, just like you see even Baba, Mama, Martha, they're out there campaigning. And so is Ken. I know when he lives here,
he will be hitting the campaign ground.
He's on the ground.
And perhaps Ken should tell us how many candidates are there. I'm told North Mugirango is likely to have the longest member of parliament ballot paper. Nyinyi mko wangapi kwa ground?
Tuko 9.
9.
We are 9.
Oh, it will be a tight race there.
Yeah, we are 9. The main one, it's UDA and Jubilee. Like you said, this time around, independence is the way to go.
Independent is the way to go.
Yeah, independent will shock people in parliament. You see, like you say that parties want to garner numbers. Like when I was in ODM, like you've seen, ODM has 181. You find it could have been more if us guys could have been given. You could have been given. But because, like you said, like now we are going straight to the voters. The voters are the one to decide.
Right.
And election this time is not like 2017 where it was this camp versus this camp. Yeah, you find it has changed. You find like maybe at the top, maybe most of the guys have decided we are giving who, but down here, that fight people are telling maybe Baba and Uhuru, uko juu sisi tutawapatia, lakini hapa chini wacha tucheze kama sisi.
And I mean, I don't know whether ODM has really tried to play safe on that, even though in most of the Nyanza region campaigns we have seen even Baba saying, for instance in Homa Bay, you know, he even had a list of the members of county assemblies those ones that are under ODM, and you know, he could tell the people, remember the governor, we have, well, at the top we have Baba, and then we have Gladys, and then we have so and so, all the way down, trying to sell this six-piece agenda, which has really not augured well with many. This report indicates that UDA's strategy has been put to make sure that they gain control of parliament at the county assemblies, and you know, fronting about 261 members of parliament out of 290 that we see. Evidently, this showcases an individual who's determined to go it out and get and position UDA as that party that would appear national. What does that mean to the rest of the Kenya Kwanza, you know, brigade? And remember, they have been crying foul, saying that most of these individuals, for instance, Deputy President William Ruto, as well as Rigathi Gachagua, should go on ground and talk about themselves right at the top. Do not tell the people to go all the way down with UDA, because to them, it doesn't augur well, yet they sell the same agenda.
Okay, so, you know, it is tricky, as you say. You know, when you come and say, okay, when you talk about Azimio first, it is Azimio la Umoja. We want everybody on board. Azimio came about from the handshake. And handshake was to unite Kenyans. So now you come into this process and you say, okay, look, we're in a coalition. We have so many parties on board, and then we even have some of our brothers and sisters who are independent. Now, it is a fact that after elections, even in these coalitions, we're going to sit down, say, okay, Jubilee, how many? ODM, how many? Etc., etc. And then, based on that, there will be, and this is the reason why I find KK are also looking at how many of their team, actual team members, who they know have to subscribe to the agenda which they have. Azimio has an agenda that we want to fulfill for Kenyans, and it's a promise that the two principals, so the presidential candidate and running mate are making. So each party is trying to make sure that we get the maximum, and especially in the strongholds where we feel we have the maximum numbers and biggest chances for the party to get those numbers. We will go and ask our people to make sure that that they vote for, if it's ODM, if it's Jubilee, if it's Wiper. You know, you go into the eastern part. Wiper is really doing what they can. But you find that even if you go to into northeastern and all, Other parties are also in there, you know, the KANU is there, and many other different parties. UPIA, you know. So this it's a mix, but definitely you'll find that every party is trying to maximize their membership in their strongholds.
Right.
Just so that they show up their numbers.
What will be of Mombasa in the event that now Sonko is officially there and there's Abdul Swamad? And you know, that was like, as according to the people of Azimio One Kenya, that was theirs to win. Will Sonko then come in to split the vote? And if he splits the vote, are there chances then he gets this? I mean, if he gets it, it's a plus because after all, he's Team Azimio. But if the two are on ground, strong candidates, will it perhaps, you know, disadvantage the Azimio One Kenya alliance, and perhaps, you know, this will be for Omar to carry?
Well, we feel one of the things when you we don't forget that Kenya is still a democracy. That one is definitely something that, you know, Baba Raila Odinga fought for. He's been part of that fight to protect that democracy from the beginning. Now, so in Mombasa, when we have democracy being displayed on the national level, we're not going to cry and say, look, one or the other, but we know that at some, as these competitors go, and you're looking at the board, the voter will decide and guide us. And as I said, Sonko, as you said, Sonko is also part of Azimio.
Okay. But let's face it, while we know that it's the voter to decide, Oliech, reality is that, especially for the cities, Nairobi City, it is in the best interest of the ruling party to get Nairobi. It is in the best interest of any party that is vying to get Nairobi. That is the reason why Jubilee Party put a proper fight to root out Kidero in Nairobi. Mombasa City is a city, and we all understand how well endowed it is and the capabilities that it has. Really, you do not want to tell me that in as much as it's the voter that decides, that Azimio One Kenya Alliance would want to lose this, that Kenya Kwanza would want to lose this.
No, the problem with this, like for the Azimio thing, it affected me. You find that when they were making these decisions, they didn't come to tell us this is what we are planning. It was just, we were just being given questionnaire. We just seeing everything on the media. That's why we find that maybe someone like Sonko coming out, because, you know, maybe there was not that proper channel that was like, us Azimio will have to give out one candidate, you get. But you find that this time they're saying we're going to have one candidate. The next day you find maybe like a place like in Mathare, they were saying it's going to be ODM. The next day they've given a Jubilee candidate. So even me, I was asking myself, me in Dagoretti, I was the sole candidate for ODM. I didn't have a competitor. So why give someone in Mathare the ticket, and me, I was in ODM in Dagoretti side, I wasn't given that ticket, you see. So that's why I find that, you know, as much as the parties are going to decide, at the end of the day, the people are the ones who are going to do, are the ones who are going to decide. You find like the parties, they are fighting to get numbers in parliament. You see, they find like in ODM, they are getting challenges like in Nyanza because of the independent candidates. Like at the end of the day, these independent candidates, most of them, they were from ODM. So me, I feel even if these independent candidates come to parliament, most of them will subscribe to what? Okay,
to a certain party. It will take so much energy for these ones that will have taken the day to convince the independent candidates as well to work with them. And they have no shortcut. Especially the ruling party will have to convince the independents in parliament to work with them. Just how much energy will that take? Because most of these people have gone independent, but they are disgruntled that perhaps within their parties they were not so lucky, and they feel like the process wasn't a free and fair one. And so it will be hard to imagine that, you know, aside from you, the other independent candidates would get into parliament and still believe in the ideologies of a party that perhaps locked them out.
You find like, no, like in my area in Dagoretti South, once we were zoned, like I've said, I wasn't consulted, I wasn't told anything. I just saw it on the media. So this time round, when I went to the ground, the ground had shifted. They told me, Ken, it's not about the party. We are taking you as one of our own. So you find now, like last week I was called to shelve for the Jubilee candidate. Yeah, why you call me now? You could have told me earlier, before I went back to my people. I could have went back to my people, I told you it's like this. I've been told to shelve my ambition. But these guys, they waited up to now.
This was last week?
Yeah, last week. They called me, they told me, it's like, you know what? The opinion polls shows you are somewhere. You see? And it's like, you, the Jubilee guy, and you guys are going to do what? I'm going to split. I told me, guys, no, I'm no longer in ODM. I'm independent. They told me, no, you are ODM. You are more ODM than independent. So I was like, my people, my youths have entrusted me. It's like, I'm going this thing to the fullest. If I leave it now, what will they tell me? I
am curious to understand this, and this, Jaoko, I'll ask on behalf of the people. Yes. Because you see, there are processes to this election. There is that clearance by the IEBC. There is that process to say, well, I exit and I am out totally, because the timelines do not allow me to shift to another party. The timelines perhaps do not allow me to go independent. Just what is this? When you're called the very last hour and you're told, now you can't be fronted as an ODM candidate, are the timelines still open for them that have been locked out now to go it independent? I mean, the ballot printing processes has begun and all these things. I mean, the people would really wish to understand that.
Oh, as you know, like that process that my brother Ken refers to is now something that it's like a private negotiation between friends, and it should not even be that kind of a top-down kind of approach. I would go to Ken. In fact, it should be the candidate from Jubilee coming. Again, let's have a cup of tea, and this is what the opinion is saying. And I think if we can come together and agree on A, B, C, D, then we can move in a certain way. Because my brother Ken and many others who are seeking leadership in this country are what are we as patriots? Somebody is going there, I believe, because they have a heart to serve people. Yeah. And if they have a heart to serve people, they are looking at the bigger picture. So sometimes now when you know, like I think you even talked about the post-election part, how would people reconcile? See, when you're a patriot, a national leader, at the end of all that, now you've been elected, whether you are in the party or whether independent. Now you come and you look at the bigger picture and say, okay, how do we move this country forward? How do we reconcile this country? You see, like even in the elections that have gone, if you come 2007, 2013, 2017, we've had situations where we've had a lot of tension in elections because of unfairness, perceived from one side. The others say, oh, look, it's like this. But at the end of the day, you find even the handshake, it's brought about by that patriotic heart, saying, look, the country is bigger than an individual, and so two people come together and shake hands and agree to move forward. We yesterday, we had a meeting with part of some of our Nairobi leaders, and this is what we were discussing. And in fact, the Azimio it was chaired by Azimio candidate Polycarp Igathe, and we were talking about how do we now bring in all leaders of Nairobi together, the allies like Ken and all. How do we sit down and reconcile what has come about? Because Kenya is the most important thing at the end of the day. We want that when we finish all this process, we should have a very peaceful country. And from the 10th and even the 9th, is determined by a lot of things that we say and do now. So this is that is my thoughts.
All right. Well, and that's fair enough. And we all hope that yes, leaders could get to that level of sobriety, a point of acceptance that it's fine. You don't have to go it with ODM. You can go independent, but we still, are focused towards maintaining that aspect of peace. As we close on this conversation,
like what Jaco is saying, this thing that they're trying to say they want to do now, they could have done it earlier. The problem is they underestimated most of us. They were like, after this zoning, there's this pattern that someone think that once it was zoned, the ODM brigade, the ODM brigade, the voters will shift maybe to go and support the Jubilee guy. You see, so when after all these were done, they found that the ground is not what they expected. Because not like in my area, my area in Dagoretti South. So one candidate expected, once Baba said that there is zoning, maybe the ODM brigade will move to its side. He found that that was not the case. That's why now they want to sit down and talk to us. So when they come to us, as we tell them, you know what, it's about the people. The people have decided. I have nothing to say.
So when you speak about the people, most of them, again, will align to a party. Others will, like you as an individual and subscribe to your ideologies. But all said and done, if you're dropping this one for ODM and you go it independent, what does it take? You then go communicate to the IEBC, tell them this and that. There's the gazettement of names. There's the printing of the ballot. Just what goes into it. And do you think you are within the timelines?
No, all these were, it's time bad. We are done all that. After we were told to shelve our ambition with the party, there was that timeline.
You say that you were told this last week.
This time is when you're told to shelve the ambition, your name will still be in the ballot. You see, so when I shelve it, it means I'll have to go and support what maybe I was supposed to live for the Jubilee guy. I have to go and support the Jubilee guy, but my name will still be in the ballot. So I have to go back to tell my people, you know what, I've shelved my ambition. I'm supporting what? I'm supporting the Jubilee guy, but still my name is going to be the ballot.
And so you have to tell them
what asked.
You're
asked. Because it's now there's no legal framework. I don't know. Somebody cannot be removed from the ballot at this stage. It will be a choice.
All right. So you could tell them, well, still consider my name, or better yet, decide to support this other party.
Yeah, I can go back to my youth and tell them, you know what, I've been told to shelve. I'm supporting this guy, but no, it's not going to be easy.
All right. And I mean that we will unpack someday for purposes of the voter to understand what really plays out. We'll not delve into that because of the question of time, but we have some of the people who really understand the laws or the legal, aspects of this, and so we seek to do that maybe sometime next week. We shelve that one for a moment. Let's look at President Uhuru Kenyatta and the fact that now again he's back on the campaign trail. I'm sure this makes you very happy.
Yes. It is a time when His Excellency did well. I think he listened to, he's a wise man. He collected wisdom from the people, and then now it is time. And he had to keep fulfilling the country's agenda, so he could not get into politics so early. So it's a good time. The response on the ground by Azimio teams are very positive. So yes, we are happy that he's on board.
All right. Okay. And many have not looked at it with good eyes. Others have celebrated it. He says it's gloves off. If you look at the papers this morning, the Standard newspaper speaks of asking whether he's a lame duck president. President Uhuru Kenyatta is counting days to his exit. Yet, unlike his predecessors, the president, who is also Azimio chairperson, has hit the campaign trail or the campaign ground and is now calling on people to take the Right Honorable Raila Odinga as his successor or predecessor, and has hit the campaign choosing Right Honorable Raila Odinga, busy with statecraft, including making key appointments and overseeing government projects, signaling his desire not to fade away just yet. A story captured on page 6. This was meant to be, after all, Tom Mboya says, people in general, may have underestimated how shrewd a politician President Uhuru Kenyatta is. So I suspect that remaining engaged will work to his benefit. Will it?
That's for me, yeah?
Yes.
I'm sitting here with you today from Bondo. Why I'm here is not even because of anything that's happening now. It's because of things that happened, excuse me.
No, you can take it meanwhile. All right, yes.
Things that happened, excuse me, Kenyans.
No, it's
these are things that happened a long time ago, before I was even born. I want to go back to my grandfather, who had a lot of impact in our family, direction our family took. You know, when Jaramogi got into politics and wanted to change, be part of the change in Kenya, he was part of a promise. The promise of the freedom fighters, he joined in that, and the promise of the independence team now that came about. So that when Baba, Raila, and even my father and many others who are part of the team now came and continued with that dream, it ended up to a point where even Jaoko, he also became a believer with the same dream to deliver Kenyans from into what we are calling now the third and final economic liberation. So this is what brought us here. So it means the same way, if we just go to 2013, when you know when President Uhuru came into power, he made many promises together with his deputy, then on what they would deliver to Kenyans. And as he's reached now to the point where he's going to exit, some of them he has been able to fulfill. Some of them he feels maybe are still pending, and he's trying so hard. One even through the handshake, you know, he was able to you know, because your president now say, okay, I've already taken. He could have just kept going and ignored everything, but he said, okay, I'll come back and you can do this. So he did the handshake, and so in the same way he looked for. He's trying to guide the country. Say, look, I want this guy to succeed me, or this team to succeed me, because I feel like if they succeed me, they'll continue with what to fulfill some of the legacy projects that I envisioned. One of the things, you know, our president even cried publicly about corruption. President Uhuru pleaded to Kenya. He said, look, we're losing 2 billion per day. 2 billion. And you know, like 2 billion per day to us as Kenyans, you know, some Kenyans I've heard sometimes when Baba says, look, the Baba care, free this, free that, we'll have this social protection, 6,000 shillings. Say, oh, where are you going to get the money? And he says, look, Prime Minister, I know where, get the money. Now, if you just plug 2 billion only, and I am sure this 2 billion is just a very conservative figure, is what we can kind of point at.
But there's more to that.
There's more. Now, if you say 2 billion, it's almost like 720 billion per year. We only need 166, so that's 6,000.
Okay.
And then, I can't remember, it is 300 or 400 or something billion, 166 billion social protection, about 400 or something for Baba care things. I mean, now if you see how it adds up. So he is looking at someone who can make sure that the country, that we tame this thing that we call corruption. One of the things that sold me to President Uhuru, I'll tell you this for sure. The day this man said, I'm removing my father's picture from the money, and he actually did it.
Yeah.
Said, I don't think there are many Kenyans who can do that.
Easily do that.
The money, I'm looking in the eye. How many of you?
First, let it be known that the money, well, still has the basis of that. But then also, constitutionally, let it also be remembered that this was a provision therein. And sometimes people actually said it was long overdue for this to happen, while others said it was about, addressing those ones that have millions and millions of proceeds from corruption. Reality is that this was within the conversation that was supposed to be happening. So it had really nothing.
Of the removing the.
Yes.
But how many leaders ignore the
Perhaps
law?
He could have
ignored every day in this country.
Okay.
Every day.
For this to have happened
in his lifetime, he was not forced. You know what could have happened is that the next regime could have done it. Okay? But he did it in his own time.
All right, fair enough.
His own father.
Okay. President Uhuru then comes, and perhaps it's a good thing that he does in terms of, envisioning the best for the country from what it is that he says. And he says the country will be safer, his legacy will be safer in the hands of Right Honorable Raila Odinga. But this spurt that we witnessed between him and his deputy, is it a plus really in the campaigns of Right Honorable Raila Odinga? What does it speak of him? Must he engage in these ones? Can he just focus on endorsing Right Honorable Raila Odinga in a subtle way? And what does it speak about him as the symbol of unity of this country? Many say that he should have taken a neutral ground, or maybe just kept silent and wait to see how politics then plays out. Ken?
Well, the thing is, the president is also a voter. He has the right to decide whom he wants to give the vote to. Me too, I'm also a voter. I have a right to know whom I'm going to vote for the president. So as much as guys, maybe people want to say that the president should not talk anything about politics. Yeah, I think he has the right. So let's not condemn him and because the guys who are condemning him, maybe they wanted him to support maybe the other guy. So the other president, the former president, they use also most of I think Kibaki,
Moi endorsed him.
Endorsed Uhuru.
Kenyatta,
Kibaki endorsed.
Kibaki tried to play in as much as he appeared to have.
But everything showed that he was backing Uhuru. He was backing Uhuru. So I don't think it's something to go around about it about the president endorsing a president.
Should he be engaged in this campaign conversation? I mean, the other day they said that he's not going to be part of the campaigns, but today we see him on the trail and saying outrightly that it is Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Does it put the country in a precarious situation?
I don't think so, because maybe he has the best interest for our country. So maybe when it says that he wants to leave this country to someone better,
you think he has the best interest for the country? Remember, he's been in power, at the top of the helm, for 10 cool years, perhaps done what it is that he could do in his capability, away or below his promises. Do you think indeed he has the interest of the people of Kenya at heart, and especially when he clearly indicates that he's going to be here and he's here to stay? Many argue that he is trying to send signals that he really doesn't want to exit home. Like Atwoli would say, he's too young to exit the stage. Is it about the people? Is it about his interest? And we also understand the interest of the Kenyatta family.
Me, when I go back to my people in Dagoretti South, when I talk to them about because I know what their needs. You find that when I go talk to them, when I tell them, you guys should go and maybe elect this president or another president, you know what they tell me? You know what, Ken? We want you to come and save us. Because these guys, when they're up there, they never check on us out down here. So they usually tell me, the MCA and the MP are the guys who are supposed to help the people on the ground. You see, so when my people say that, you know what, Ken, uko juu wewe usishughulike hapa, mkiwa hapa chini ndio utafanyia utatusaidia. So me, I'm telling people, let's not concentrate on the president so much. What about here in the MP? The MP is the one who's going to look after your needs. You know, my people in Dagoretti, taking my youth, you see, I usually tell them these problems are not going to be solved by what? By the big boys. It's up to you guys. Give me the mandate here. Nitafanyia job. That's the thing. So let's not focus about the presidency and the presidency. the big job is on the MCAs and the MPs. Yeah.
Just how far should President Uhuru Kenyatta take this one? Look at the papers this morning, and we're talking about politics saving Kenyans from fuel cost pain. This is interesting to see, as captured on page 4 of the Standard newspaper. And it's in a huge way indicates that Uhuru makes pitch for Raila's election with 16 billion fuel subsidy. They also speak of the likes of Governor Mike Sonko, ambaye amepata mwosho mmoja, courtesy of the fact that yes, he was told come endorse Igathe in Nairobi. That is how bad they have to secure Nairobi. And then from there, then you will be vindicated by the courts, and by default, you'll find your way into the Mombasa gubernatorial bid. So when you speak about this, do you agree with some of the people that will argue that this story of giving us a reprieve on fuel is on the grounds of campaigning for Right Honorable Raila Odinga? But just how far should it go? Is it a disadvantage or advantage, if at all it's the case?
Well, one of the things that I see from that situation is one, the president first is trying to secure a legacy. He's at the point where he wants his legacy to continue. He secures one, like he says, okay, look, this is what I've done, and this is what I want to be remembered for. Now, the president is very worried, I think, that at the end of, after his term, many will start remembering him first for high fuel costs, which we all know what is causing the high fuel costs. People politicize it, but it's a whole chain of events, including Corona. And now what is going on in Russia and Ukraine and all, causing all these fuel price inflation. Now the other thing is that when the president feels, okay, when, like even between, you have a best friend, you agree, you do things together, and so now like him and the deputy president, they formed a government, they know how they formed it. Well, they're forming it. We were crying. We were in the streets, crying foul. And they've interacted together. They had an agenda, including the Big Four and all this. And right now, in fact, the deputy president throws the president under the bus for agenda that they did together. When you're in a cabinet together, we call it collective responsibility. You take a responsibility, and whatever happens in your government happens in your government. If you do not carry your weight, you're part of the load, then it is your fault when it goes out. So the president is saying, look, and I think we heard him crying out loud, right? Saying, I know this guy. I know what he's about and where he would take us. So it would be wrong of me, he said, not to tell you and advise you. So see, I think the president has been clear. You make your choice, but if you make that choice, be prepared to live with it, because it might not be a very good choice. This is what the president is saying. And I know there's nowhere where it is written that by cushioning Kenyans, which he himself, as the president, is responsible for. Imagine cushioning us against 210 shillings per litre. The other day, fuel was, for diesel, below 100. Now we're talking 140 and up. That is a responsibility of the government. How can somebody start saying, look, this guy is doing it for campaign? That is so...
But you would say that because the same way, these individuals are telling us how they're going to make adjustments immediately they get into power. And some of these adjustments you think of and you think they are unrealistic. And so if at all someone has the confidence to tell you that, you know what, now fuel is 160, but once we get into power, once we ascend into power, we'll make it 100, we'll make it 90. But then you ask yourself, are these prices being raised because of the campaigns? Is this money, or this is just a way of making money for those ones that are on ground campaigning, and that once we are done, then they're going to revive, or they're going to come back to that aspect of normalcy?
No, you remember, we've said that, look, our country, we are leaking resources from, and I tell you, the expert in plugging leaks is Baba, period.
Is it?
Let me tell you, when, and he doesn't, I don't know why it never blows, he doesn't like blowing
why is he not his, why
has
he not helped his friend then?
Let me tell you what happened here. Remember his friend is still in a government with others. Who are disowning that government.
To be honest,
yeah,
I mean,
but now, what happened, let me tell you what happened in Tanzania. When President Magufuli was elected, immediately, the first person he looked for was Baba.
Yeah, that's...
Baba went there for about a week. They sat down, told him, look, if you want Tanzania to come from a position of debt to a debt-free country where you are actually even paying for your own projects, one, control how you collect money so you don't hemorrhage there. And two, your expenditure. You control that part too. And you can remember even very well when Baba and President Kibaki came in, they made some changes that time. And this is why President Magufuli was calling him. That made sure that we came from negative growth to a positive growth. I think when the coalition government left, all Kenyans were kind of very happy and optimistic on the way forward. So that plugging of even just 2 billion to make sure it's not being lost is what is going to help
He did much of that during the grand election, grand coalition government, you think?
Yes.
He did much of that during the grand coalition government?
Oh, yes.
Hold this. Let's allow Kevin to come in. And I know you also are a sympathizer or a supporter of Baba, and therefore I might not get much out of you in terms of maybe just trying to get Kenyans understanding why Jaoko would argue that Baba would be that plug to fix some of these, loopholes that we have. But questions are, what has he done in his times where he's been at the helm, not at the top of it, yes? What did he do for the people of Kibra? Langata, what did he do during the Grand Coalition government, and why is it that he's not helped his friend President Uhuru Kenyatta? Because I mean, from what the president says, you can almost tell that Baba really has direct access to him, and maybe, just maybe, if he would come with advice like he did, take advice to Tanzania, then these things would have been addressed as early as now.
I'm not that really a sympathizer, but what I can say, people usually talk about the Kibera issue about Baba. The time Baba was the MP for Kibra, there was no CDF and everything. That time, you had to be loyal to the president so that you can get the goodies. And we know that time Baba wasn't going along with the government. So that's why you find that there was no development in Kibra. Kibra is next to Dagoretti South. We used to play football in Kibra. It's next to Dagoretti South. Me, all I can say right now, Baba fought for devolution. There's devolution. We are now, the MPs, we can access funds. It's up to the MPs now to work with the money they've been given, to help the youth, to help our mothers, to give bursaries. But we find out the guys that have been entrusted to do that, they're not doing it. So at the end of the day, we guys, we are going to blame the president and everything. The president has his own duties. What about you as the MP? What are you doing?
But we have no choice but to blame the president because he's the father of the house. And he said that he's going to put his house in order. So having failed to do that, we have no choice but to question him. That's
why I'm telling my people, the youth, like my people in Dagoretti South, it's up to you guys. Put the right person in there. You know, you are the father. You have so many children. It reaches a point you can't control it. You can't control everyone. So that's why I'm saying this time, there's a time to punish the guys that are going the wrong way. And this is the time, during the election time. So I'm telling my people, I'm telling the guys, the youth, this is the time, punish them. By doing what? By voting them out. So my people from Dagoretti South, this is the thing. You guys have been complaining. You guys are not getting bursaries. The youths, there's no job for the youths. So it's up to you guys now. I'm the option. There's no other option. You guys have been crying for 5 years. Now I'm here, your son. I'm coming to seek for a mandate to help you guys to come out of this mess. So it's up to for the voters. Let us not all the time say it's up to the president. At the end of the day, it's the MCA and the MP. We are the guys who are near to the electorate. Yeah.
All right, here we are, and yes, the conversation is as clear as that, and so we wait to see how much of change we are going to witness in the next crop. 24 days to it.
Yeah.
Really, do you suppose Kenyans have gotten the gist, have understood proper leadership, have understood the aspects of ideology and the manifestos that are being sold to us, and have believed that in this crop that has presented their names to represent us, there are some that would really steer the country to a better place?
Well, I believe that many Kenyans, especially we've seen a large trooping into Azimio, because especially since we teamed up with Mama Martha.
Yeah.
Many Kenyans who are previously sitting on the fence, still trying to decide where to go, trooped into Azimio, because people are looking for systems. People are looking for credible systems that they believe can actually work and bring change. When you look at Baba, many Kenyans know he has been a defender, a mtetezi of the people's rights. Sometimes you find some people may not understand where he's going. Let's say, for example, when when he joined with President Moi, we feel okay. First, President Moi had done so many things to him. They thought it was the wrong way to go. But first, Baba has a big heart. He forgave and he went and shook hands with President Moi for the sake of the country, so that we could get some direction, and to systems, creating systems.
Right.
Because I agree with Ken. You see, because the system then, when you were envisioning a new constitution that will now put Kenya in a different kind of path, you notice Baba's things come in that way. So we went, I think it was a tail end. Even Jaramogi at the tail end was talking about that constitution. Baba went on with it, and then devolution. At the end of the day, devolution came about, and responsibilities, as my brother Ken has said, delegated to many different people. But Baba is looking at, when you bring the system, take that money which was centralized, put it on individuals' hands, and let them manage it to the grassroots. When the roads, we had a big problem with the roads. Even this Oburu highway that you're looking at looked like some path, and yet it was so wide. Many people, I never even imagined it to be as wide as it is, even in Upper Hill and all. And now, because of his firmness and to make sure that the system, which was already a master plan that was there for roads across the country, was implemented, we're now enjoying that kind of roads, including, when before this road that is going into Westlands to reduce that traffic was envisioned during the coalition government with President Kibaki.
And I'm curious,
So,
is
yes.
Baba doing much in this docket of Africa of infrastructure, special envoy for infrastructure? Just how much is he doing? He's in the campaigns.
Yeah.
What is he doing? What is happening in that office? Could you have an idea?
There's again, and something you're going to see, because many, unfortunately for us as African countries, it's like we're still in the dark with each other. Just calling Tanzania will cost you almost 40 shillings per minute. And flying to Dubai will cost you about 40,000 or so. Flying to Dar es Salaam will cost you the same or more, and Kampala vice versa. So it's a complex situation. When you, but Baba has come and said to Africa, look, the first thing is infrastructure. Let's get interconnected with roads, railways, and communications. Because if I can call UK for almost like 3 shillings a minute, I mean, why do I call Uganda for 20?
Yeah.
So this, but basically what I'm trying to say is that Baba has set up this system, And the motion is in progress.
Yeah.
So that in the next short while, you're going to see, and of course, some of the roads, even in what we're talking about, in Kenya here, we have all these corridors being built to connect us to Ethiopia and all that. Some of them.
If I can cut you, so no, we are talking mostly about the infrastructure.
Okay. Yes.
You're forgetting about our youths.
Yes.
You're forgetting about the price of hunger right now.
Right.
You see, so when you go back to Uko Komtani,
infrastructure is none of their business.
We've made highways. What they tell you, niaje mwesh, tunalala njaa. What are you doing to the youth? There's no program for the youths. You see, the youths are in the base. Wako kwa base. There's nothing they're doing. There's no program for the roots, for the youth. That's why I'm saying now, this time we have to focus for the youths. Nowadays, the youth, they have groups. What can we do for them in their groups? They're in the base. Most of them, they do car wash. Do they have the facilities for the car wash?
Yes.
They don't have. We don't focus on the youths.
We don't focus on issues, priorities, and the most important things. Yeah.
So if you come and tell us about the roads, when you go back there in the mtaani, they'll ask you, tutakula barabara. You see, you know, if we make the roads and the youth, they have jobs, they won't be complaining. The mama boga, the guys are saying that down there. What are you doing to them? The small traders, they can't access loans in their banks. You see, so that we're saying, when you go back there to the mama and bogas, you tell them, you know what, you can have groups. We can have table banking for them. We're not talking about that. You see, in our sports, nothing is done about sports. Me, I used to play football. I went abroad because of football. We guys are not talking about that. We are talking about infrastructure, and our guys are going to attain power. What about our guys out there?
Okay, well, that's an interesting question, and I mean that's a question that has been with us, and I agree that leaders will tell you that you know, infrastructure, long-term solutions to some of the problems that would face us, and therefore we cannot run away from these developments that come along with good infrastructure. We have to appreciate, but then priorities, really, Jaoko, priorities are very, very important.
Yes. Well, what I would just let me add to, you got a good point. I was only talking about the history of where it's through to show that because you asked what is Baba doing, and what has he been doing. But all these things are, you know, like if you look at many parts of Kenya, how many women have not made it to the hospital alive, or the babies alive, because they can't access a road to take them there. So these are some of the painful facts when you go in there, okay? And those are there, okay? Now when you come to the youth agenda now, Azimio clearly takes even us as young Turks. Baba gave us the agenda from the very beginning, and we registered YOTA as a trust. That the trust will deal with inclusivity, so that women, youth, and persons of disability have access to opportunities in government. You know, like right now, there's AGPO, but rarely does any part of the government meet that 30% opportunities to government. And we're talking about even employment, we're talking about now governance, leadership, things that to make sure that these people are included, including when you talk about inclusivity, we're even talking about our people in the marginalized parts of Kenya, and even in our slums in Kenya. You know, even when we talk about the second objective, it's economic empowerment. Economic empowerment, and it is in tandem with what's in Azimio. We're talking about a buy Kenya, build Kenya kind of economic empowerment approach, because we're saying, look, if we can't make a toothpick here, we're letting it being made in China, then it means our jobs are all out there. The jobs for our youth are out there. Yet we have land to produce things which will make sure that from the industrialized country, from the cottage industry going upwards, we'll be able to get the employment for our youth. We're talking about incentives like making the tax holidays for youth driven enterprises and all that, so that at the end of the day, the Mwananchi is empowered. When you talk about even that 6,000, it is just to cushion a person so that they can, when you're hungry, how do you start somebody
but you
comes
also agree
talking to
that
you
you
about
can't
this
cushion
kind of-
someone for a long time.
No. That's why that plan, the other plans are there. So
Okay.
as you're being cushioned, you're being trained.
Okay, well.
And then remember, all these things cannot happen unless you have, and you have Baba and a Mama there. And Mama, in fact, I was trying to tell you that many people have a lot more confidence in Azimio now because a prefect. There's a prefect there. Well, all those people.
No, you can have the Baba and Mama, but down there, the guys that we've elected.
Yes.
They're not going to do good for Baba and Mama. The thing is, so that's I'm saying to the electorates out there. Let's not look at Baba na Mama or Ruto huko juu.
Let's get the right people here.
Let's get the right people.
That's true.
And the right people is not from the ground, the MCs and the MPs. Baba na Mama na Ruto huko, wazee hawatatusaidia.
Well, fair enough, gentlemen.
Kwa ground.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's 2 minutes to time, and we have to close. So I'll give you 1 minute to give us your parting shot. Perhaps also address this, bad mouthing that we witness in campaign trails. Maybe our leaders need to style up. We start with you, Kevin.
All the things what I could have, I want to say the thing is, this is the time for choosing. Either you choose good or you choose bad. Like from my people, me, I come from the sports sector. Sports is down. They've done nothing about sports. That's why I say this time round, I want to come and change it. Not about talking. As a sports personality, the thing is, when we elect the right people, good things are going to be done. Like in football right now, we know what's going on about football. We can't tackle this thing until we have maybe someone at the parliament so that we can amend these laws. That's what I said this time round. Let me calm down and offer myself. I come from the slums in Dagoretti South. The things I know the challenges that we've gone through. Yeah, our youths. It's so hurting when I come from my broad. I come back home, the guys, vijana tell me, niaje Kinute, tuachie kakitu. The mothers, they call me, niaje, we can't get bursaries. Please help me money. So I said, it's like, I can't help everyone with this small cash that they have. The thing is, let me offer myself as an MP. At least I can help the larger group. The thing there. So what I want to say, my people, my electorate, the thing is, let's elect someone who is going to help us out. When we are voting, let's not go about which chama you are in. The thing is, let's elect someone who is going to help us out. I'm telling you, the thing is, the Azimio people, you guys, you have your own thing, they have their own thing. As much as you guys are campaigning, let's have a peaceful election. And the thing is, at the end of the day, it's about our people. Let's help our people.
Ken, and I don't know why you allow me to call you Kevin. It is Ken. Thank you so much as well. Jauko, your parting shots in 30 seconds. Ken tuned into your time, all right?
No problem. He's my brother, so it's okay. Now, I want to appeal to Kenyans that to remember that when you're going to apply for a job, the first thing you present is your CV. Your CV shows your history, the things you've done, and it also gives you it gives everybody else the chance to assess what you could possibly do. So when we look at Azimio and KK, we should look at it in the same light. Because when you look at the KK part, the leaders, there's a lot of baggage, including, I don't know, I've not heard them talk about, there was a very serious accusation yesterday. And I've not seen them repeating it, where he said there was a young man who interrupted the DP at one of the rallies, and he actually talked to the young man. And then they're saying that this young man died. I don't know if it is whether it was just a rumor. No one has refuted it. I mean, these are very serious allegations, Now, when you come to our rallies in Nyanza, sometimes you'll hear, or even here in Nairobi, they sing, excuse me for singing, Onge ngama babu senego, Onge ngama babu senego.
Tell us what that means.
There's no one who Baba has ever killed. Baba, you see, when you look at Baba's CV and Martha's CV, there's a CV of kutetea wa Kenya. That is what you see there. I have not seen any. If somebody please show me an accusation against Baba somewhere, where we're saying like Baba is a thief or Baba has done something negative.
Oh, those are rare. 1, 2 at
but
least.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
it is something incredible about Baba. There's nothing. But some people have things about them. Let's look at them.
Okay.
So I'm asking you on August 9th, come out and vote. Make your choice. Make your choice and choose the right way. Choose Baba and Martha government. Take a chance. This is your time.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
All the very best, gentlemen. Honorable Jaoko Oburu Odinga, the chairperson of Azimio Young Turks, as well as Dagoretti South, a member of parliament.